Violent confrontations. The story next.
I'm Anna Marcos. A rattlesnake warning and a mountain lion warning. Find out what zoo officials have to say coming up.
The hate propaganda that helped fuel a movement during World War II is on display here at LA's Central Library through the summer. I'm Gil Reyes with the story next.
Hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yana Kay. Well, LA police officials are launching a controversial effort to reduce officers' use of deadly force. As Gil Reyes reports, the police union fears this could compromise officer safety.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
It's unanimous. The LAPD's civilian bosses approve recommendations aimed at preventing shootings in the field as much as possible.
The recommendations are intended to solidify our commitment to minimal reliance upon the use of force, and deadly force in particular.
Police Commission President Matt Johnson says defusing tense situations with dangerous suspects is nothing new at the LAPD. However, specific language for de-escalation policy has never been attempted until now. This wording is expected to change the rules for determining if a shooting was justified and if officers did all they could to prevent violence. Before these protocols are even written, the police union is crying foul, saying the new policies will endanger officers as cops will be more reluctant to use force for fear of being disciplined.
Make no mistake, if an officer is killed as a result of this use of force policy that you want to revamp, their blood will be on your hands.
LAPD officers do not need a change in policy. We need support. Support to stop the violent assaults of gang members, support to stop crime in our neighborhoods, and support for the thousands of mentally ill residents who too often go unassisted until they become threats to the public, themselves, and police officers.
The recommendations come after a 10-year study into LAPD training by Police Inspector General Alex Bustamante. In recent years, the LAPD has faced criticism for the fatal shootings of unarmed black suspects, shootings that many say could have been prevented. Civil rights activists say the new policy does not go far enough.
Everybody in this room knows that if Brother Africa was white, he'd be alive today. And unless you deal with the concepts and the outcomes of racism, the policy will not be what it needs to be.
We absolutely believe in de-escalation. I absolutely, and this organization absolutely believe in minimal use of force, and that use of deadly force should be a last resort. But we also recognize the difficulties of police work. We also recognize that sometimes police officers have to act before they are able to exhaust every possible option.
In downtown LA, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The LAPD, the City Attorney's Office, and the Inspector General are among those helping to draft language for the new policy, emphasizing de-escalation as much as possible. Well, LA's broken sidewalks are one step closer to getting fixed. Rasha Goel has more on a new proposed plan.
It's a problem that has plagued the streets of Los Angeles for decades. But now, city officials are offering an 11-point plan for citywide repairs on cracks and crumbling sidewalks.
First time it's been done in decades, where the city will actually have a blueprint for how to repair every single sidewalk.
And while the idea sounds good, Angelinos came out to express their concerns.
When trees are getting trimmed, when trees are getting services, once the sidewalks are fixed, what is the plan to maintain the trees that are causing the sidewalks to be messed up? There doesn't seem to be any plan.
I want to make sure that the monies are equally distributed throughout the city, and that the central city and northeast side of the city gets its fair share.
The sidewalk plan includes a comprehensive one-time repair, meaning every damaged sidewalk will be fixed. Also includes a 20-year warranty for future damage on residential property and a 5-year warranty for commercial property. And property owners could have their sidewalk repaired in as little as 3 years if they decide to cover half of the cost.
Today's comprehensive sidewalk repair program will allow a cash rebate incentive to residents and businesses across the city of Los Angeles that they'd be able to fix their sidewalks and the city come up with half of the cost. In addition, we're looking at creating more hires for our street services and our engineers to move forward on tackling this issue.
Los Angeles has nearly 11,000 miles of public sidewalks, and it is believed that 40% need some type of improvement.
And it's been a source of tremendous complaints. It's been a source of liability for the city as we've had trip and falls, and it has diminished the walkability of our communities and the quality of life in our communities.
City officials say the repair plan would cost $30 million a year. The proposal will go to the full city council for vote in the next few weeks. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
This proposal is the culmination of nearly 2 years of work, 8 public meetings, and hundreds of public comments. Well, city leaders try to sell another transportation tax to voters in the Valley. Gil Reyes reports on possible projects near CSUN should this measure pass.
The president of Cal State Northridge wants more bus and rail options on the busy streets around campus.
We can reduce the numbers of cars that are coming not only to our campus but to our neighborhoods.
Suggestions include bus rapid transit from CSUN to a proposed rail system along Nordhoff Street. Also bus service from CSUN to the Orange Line on Reseda Boulevard. These suggestions are part of the conversation at the San Fernando Valley Transportation Summit. The main topic, traffic.
It is the worst quality of life issue we face as a region that affects more people on a daily basis than any issue we have, bar none.
LA Mayor and Metro Board member Eric Garcetti is pushing for another half-cent sales tax increase for the fall. Garcetti says it would fund much-needed transportation projects near CSUN, but will Valley voters approve? Some residents complain of being shortchanged during the last transportation tax passed in 2008, Measure R. Metro officials admit just 5% of that money has gone to the San Fernando Valley, even though Valley residents make up 23% of the county's tax base. The mayor says he's working with Valley leaders to make sure this doesn't happen again.
And it's my pledge, and we're working, Bob Blumenfield's already introduced a motion on my suggestion to make sure the San Fernando Valley gets its fair share of the LA City local return dollars, because that ensures that you can get your streets paved, your stop signs put in there, your stoplights installed that we need right here in the Valley.
Voters will decide on a half-cent sales tax measure for bus, rail, and other transportation-related projects in November. Near CSUN, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
A recent CSUN study found about half of faculty and students would get out of their cars and take public transit under the right circumstances. Well, the LA Zoo is serving up a double dose of predatory warnings this season. The danger of rattlesnake bites could increase in this El Nino year, and a wild cat is attacking animals inside the zoo. Anna Marcos brings us more.
The kangaroo and koala exhibit at the LA Zoo is looking a little bare right now. The 10 koalas are nowhere in sight. They are living in a safe enclosure until further notice, after what zoo officials believe was a mountain lion attack. Surveillance cameras show P-22, the Griffith Park resident mountain lion, broke into the zoo the night of the attack. They suspect the giant cat took off with Killarney, a 14-year-old koala.
Probably 40 yards from that space, though, the staff found a puff of fur, no blood, but just a little bit of koala fur on the ground. And then about an hour or more after that, the remains of the koala was located, literally 300 to 400 yards from where the koala was living.
Officials say the predator would have had to jump not only a 9-foot perimeter fence, it would have had to jump this wall and fence, which is another 8 or 9 feet, carrying a 15-pound koala with it.
It would have to be an animal that was capable of carrying that amount of weight and still getting over a 9-foot fence.
Most of the smaller, non-tree dwelling mammals are now being kept indoors at night. Zoo directors are trying to figure out where the cat is coming in and how to best stop him. Meanwhile, animal experts say there's another predator that two-legged mammals should worry about this season: rattlesnakes. They say the unusually warm winter weather poses a greater danger that snakes will be out and about. They have some tips for keeping rattlers off your property.
Rattlesnakes especially are almost exclusively rodent feeders, at least our rattlesnake that's found here. And the smartest thing you could do is to keep your property clean and don't draw in rodents. If you have lots of piles of debris on your property, that is going to draw in rodents, and that will in turn draw in snakes.
And if you get bitten, the experts say, forget snake bite kits and folk remedies. Just get to a hospital quick.
Don't put your hand or foot in a bucket of ice. Don't wrap a constricting band or a tourniquet around the extremity. Don't suck on the wound. Don't cut or slice the wound open with a knife or a blade.
One good piece of news: a rattlesnake bite rarely leads to death.
But what rattlesnakes can do is, after they envenomate you, they can cause a lot of tissue destruction, and that damage could result in you losing a finger, losing a hand, losing toes.
Greater snake activity could also rise if the predicted El Niño weather brings heavier storms. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
And back to that mountain lion, zoo officials say the cat has broken into the zoo before, but had only taken wild raccoons up until now. Well, high-flying technology could soon change the way cargo is counted at the Port of LA. Gil Reyes shows us some of the latest innovations at the recent Port Tech Expo.
Look, up in the sky, drones. Not for military use, but for faster inventory of shipping containers, specifically cargo that's stacked really high. Inventory using drones could be the wave of the future.
So where you have to get somebody up on a long ladder or on a scaffolding unit, you just send your drone through the warehouse and it'll tell you everything that's on the top shelves.
Drones could also be used for video surveillance at the port, a potential target for terrorists, according to law enforcement. DJI Phantom drones are among the gadgets showcased at the Port Tech Expo in San Pedro.
It's not a trade show. It's really an opportunity for the entrepreneurs to connect to potential customers.
Another innovation that could soon be making its way to the port full-time: autonomous vehicles that will deliver not only cargo, but people.
So this self-driving car that we're developing is actually intended for private campuses. So your resorts, retirement communities, large corporate campuses, university campuses.
And possibly the Port of LA. The car is not totally self-driving yet, but already has technology that prevents it from hitting things.
You'll see the range that we're actually looking for objects in. All the other stuff is actually output from a 3D laser scanner that we have on the roof. And it's constantly monitoring our environment 20 times a second and looking for stuff like, pedestrians, cars, and making sure that we avoid them and act safely.
Driverless vehicles could also help ensure transporting goods by rail is safe. This driverless Rail Scout detects faulty train tracks before a derailment can occur.
One person can be able to sit more in the comfort of his office and be able to watch this thing actually perform its tasks. And especially when it comes to some dangerous situations, when there's flooding and stuff like that, this thing can go out and can see the condition of the track without putting a person in harm's way.
Helping to keep the air clean are the newest electric port trucks. They'll soon be going farther on a single charge.
Drayage trucks. We have trucks now that can go 70 to 140 miles. We're looking at trucks that maybe can go 120 to 200 miles. And those trucks are going to be out here in the ports before the year's out.
Making business at the port cleaner, greener, and more efficient. At the Port Tech Expo, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Around 60 companies showcase their latest and greatest gadgets. Well, who knew a group of neighborhood councils could have this much influence? A mixer at the Valley Alliance of Neighborhood Councils can draw a who's who list of the biggest movers and shakers in the city and the state. Anna Marcos has more on the latest get-together.
The Valley Alliance of Neighborhood Councils was never meant to be.
The Dunn staff and the people downtown did not want us to exist. They did not want neighborhood councils to get together. And the Dunn staff actually visited neighborhood councils and told them not to participate in our alliance.
But the alliance proved the naysayers wrong. This coalition of 34 neighborhood councils in the valley has just kept growing for 13 years, and the state and city leaders it draws to its mixers are proof of its growing clout.
Look around you. This is what democracy looks like.
And our purpose is to share information. We have researched and taken positions on local issues, ballot measures, and those issues that not only affect the valley, but the city as well.
I'm looking in a room full of community leaders that you give, and that's what makes our country great.
The group has met every single month for the last 13 years, and when the alliance speaks, it seems, state and city leaders listen.
But it's not just the growth of this event, it is the growth in influence that the neighborhood councils have had. It's the growth in leadership.
Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for participating in the summit. We're making our voices heard. We want to make sure that this time around, as the mayor appropriately says, that the valley gets its fair share.
City leaders come here to share their victories as well as the need for rate increases.
We have requested very small rate increases, enough to where you're not going to pay more in the long run. Not everything we need, but I am unwilling to commit more of your dollars.
We won in the Court of Appeal establishing that the city's ban on new billboards stands.
Another highlight of the mixer, the Best of Awards, which go to neighborhood councils with extraordinary community service. Sylmar got an award for creating a Homeless Services Connect Day, while Sun Valley got one for its coalition against human trafficking and prostitution.
Some of the ways the neighbors invested in this cause included installing cameras around their homes and cameras in an alley that helped the prostitution task force make many arrests.
It's a community organized, involved, and committed. And thanks to the Valley Alliance of Neighborhood Councils, it keeps growing stronger. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The Valley Alliance of Neighborhood Councils accounts for more than a third of all the neighborhood councils in the city. A state appeals court backs the City of LA's ban on billboards. Mayor Eric Garcetti launches a new jobs app designed to help Angelenos find work, and a new exhibit celebrates the accomplishments of women. All these stories in City Beat. A state appeals court panel upheld LA's ban on billboards and digital signs. The decision by a 3-judge panel of the 2nd District Court of Appeal overturned a lower court ruling that found the city's ban violated the free speech clause of the California Constitution. The city's ban on off-site and digital signs was imposed in 2002 and has been challenged multiple times by various billboard advertising firms, claiming it was content-based and in violation of free speech rights. An off-site sign is a commercial billboard in a location other than a property owner's business. The city's ban also prevents the conversion of existing signs to digital displays.
This ruling is extremely important. Again, it gives the city council the authority to stand up for neighborhoods and make sure that we don't have billboard blight throughout the city of Los Angeles. Without this ruling, the city council would not have had those tools, and every neighborhood would have been threatened.
Mayor Eric Garcetti unveiled a new Jobs LA mobile app that allows job seekers to use smartphones to search nearly 50,000 employment listings in the city of Los Angeles and up to 150,000 countywide. The mayor said the app allows folks to search at their convenience. The app filters job listings from 20,000 websites, gets updated daily, and is ad-free. Job seekers can browse help-wanted listings in their area, from opportunities at FedEx and UPS to jobs at law and accounting firms, or even find the nearest WorkSource center. The El Pueblo Historical Monument is honoring National Women's History Month with an exhibit called From Her. On display now through March 31st, the exhibit features 24 pieces of artwork from 19 artists depicting a diverse set of women leaders.
We have pieces that depict teachers, political leaders, women who are entrepreneurs in business.
A new exhibit at the Central Library reveals hateful advertisements approved by Adolf Hitler. The library is showing them so people won't forget. Gil Reyes has more. Gil.
Yes, Yana, this artwork and other propaganda that helped fuel Nazi Germany's hate movement during World War II is on display here at LA's Central Library through August. And it drew one Holocaust survivor who ended up poking fun at the Nazis on a popular television show during the 1960s.
The images bring back painful memories for French-American Jewish actor Robert Clary. Clary is the lone survivor of a Nazi roundup that sent his family to Germany's concentration camps. This happened when he was a teenager.
I'm talking about my mom and my dad and my sisters and my uncle and my nephews. Yes, we were 14 of us with my sisters. 14 of us were arrested. I'm the only one who came back. And I know now, I am positive that my mother and father, when they arrived in Auschwitz, went directly to the gas chambers.
Clary would later gain fame as an actor on the 60s sitcom Hogan's Heroes. The TV comedy about a Nazi prisoner of war camp was quite different from his real camp experience.
I was not that person. I was Louis Lebeau. He was a Frenchman. He was not Jewish. He was not sent to concentration camp. He was just a prisoner of war. And I enjoyed those 6 years with Hogan's Heroes.
Now, at 90 years old, Clary speaks about the real horrors of the Holocaust to young people. Today we're at the LA Central Library in downtown for the opening of a new exhibit, State of Deception, the Power of Nazi Propaganda.
It gets them to think about how propaganda can be used by extremists to win mass support.
And we want to make sure, as we're seeing with the students today, that they understand the lessons of the Holocaust. Why is it relevant to them today to speak up when they see an injustice, for them to question sometimes authority when they see something which doesn't sit right with them.
We expect dozens and dozens and dozens of school classes to come through the exhibit. And of course, every day that the library is open, which is 7 days a week, the exhibit will be open to the public.
Clary, who still has his prisoner tattoo after all these years, hopes others will never forget.
In my talk, I say, you have to remember. When I talk to young kids, I say, and it's your responsibility. You remember those things. You try to be a better human being. Don't hate.
At the LA Central Library in downtown Los Angeles, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The exhibit is free and runs through August 21st. Well, we've all heard the anti-drug term, just say no. But now the LAPD baseball team has taken the term and kicked it up a notch. And one Northridge Elementary got a special treat for taking the pledge to say no. Anna Marcos takes us there.
'Cause I said no to drugs.
Yep, these cops from the LAPD baseball team can rap. And the kids at Napa Street Elementary are getting down with it. But it's rapping for a cause.
This is what we do. This is for you guys' future, saying no to drugs, gangs, crime, and bullying. I pledge to say no to drugs.
485 of the school's 506 kids, almost all of them, have taken the pledge. As a reward, the LAPD baseball team has come out to entertain them and to hold a Just Say No rally.
Are you guys ready for some fun?
The students are part of a pilot program by the LAPD baseball team to keep more kids off the streets. All these kids have gone online and taken the pledge to just say no to drugs, gangs, crime, and bullying, and to be respectful and responsible. The school principal says the campaign has been a success since it started in January.
It is working. We've seen a difference. We've seen a difference with our students talking to each other, counseling each other. We've seen a reduction in bullying, reduction in name calling.
We're in the streets every day. We see the kids, we see the crimes. Our goal is to prevent these kids. If you reach these kids while they're little, what happens is maybe they won't be criminals or get into crime when they get older. So our job is to interact with these kids while they're young.
Hula hooping and other healthy activities like ball practice rounded out the Just Say No rally. And of course, walking home with a brand new bike makes saying no that much sweeter. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
If you or your school are interested in the Just Say No program and want the LAPD baseball team to come out to your school, visit lapdbaseballteam.com and take the pledge. Well, it's time to get your cosplay on as WonderCon rolls into town. Take a walk through musical history with some candid photos of Bob Dylan. And as we reported earlier, the new Nazi propaganda exhibit is a must visit. All this in this week's Things to Do. WonderCon is an annual comic book, science fiction, and motion picture convention held in the San Francisco Bay Area until 2011. For 3 years after that, it was held in Anaheim, but now it's made its way to LA. While the main attraction of WonderCon has always been various retailers selling back issues of comic books and action figures, the exhibitor list has grown to include retailers of specialty DVDs. WonderCon is literally the sister show to Comic-Con International, embracing all the main aspects of that show, including comics, movies, TV, animation, a masquerade, and more. WonderCon 2016 will be held March 25th, 26th, and 27th at the Los Angeles Convention Center, located at 1201 South Figueroa Street. For more, visit comic-con.org. Bob Dylan Photographs by Daniel Kramer documents Bob Dylan's metamorphosis from folk musician to rock and roll icon through more than 50 photographs taken by New York-based photographer and film director Daniel Kramer for a year and a day during 1964 and 1965. On display at the Grammy Museum's second floor through May 15th. For more, visit GrammyMuseum.org. Learning what propaganda is and how to counter it is essential in today's information-saturated world. The special exhibition, State of Deception, The Power of Nazi Propaganda, produced by the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, explores how the Nazis used propaganda to win broad voter support in Germany, implement radical programs, and justify war and mass murder. This exhibit will be on display through August 21st at the Central Library located at 630 West 5th Street. The exhibit and related programs are free. For more, visit lapl.org. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kay, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.